So pretty slow NBA news day and week and a half, I should say, for us. Not much to talk about today, sadly. So we'll kind of keep it quick, just kind of like see where the league's at with everything and kind of just give you a little overview as we kind of get through the dog days of the NBA summer, if you will.
Yeah, really just kind of slow, nothing wild, you know, not
Yeah.
like the greatest basketball player in the history of humanity has decided to come play for the Philadelphia 76ers. What did you think this was? This is an emergency pod, baby. We've had like 3 of these in the entire podcast, and it is time for one now. It's matched up really well with Saturday, and thank you everyone for your
Mhm.
patience. We haven't dropped an episode in about a week and a half, really since ironically the Jaylen Brown news broke last time, but there were a lot of other trades going on, so you couldn't make it a Sixers episode. Listen, I got the shirt on today. I ain't even hiding it. I have, listen, this is one of the best days of my life. There's no way around it. Like this is LeBron James plays for the Sixers. It's not a drill. He's here 2 years, $8 million deal. He chose us over the Heat. He chose us over the Cavaliers. He chose us over the Warriors and all those other teams that were on Rich Paul's whiteboard. I truly don't know what to do. This is the definition of I don't know what to do with my hands right now. You already know what I'm titling the episode, right?
The what?
Smiling through it all. I can't believe this is our lives.
Dude, I'm telling you what, like, I'm baffled, but at the same time, I'm not, because it felt like when we talked about rosters that were potential for him to go to, like this one made the most sense in my head. And, we'll probably get into it a little bit later, but from like a legacy standpoint, what potentially makes your name stand out even more, getting another one in Cleveland or clearing another potential drought in Philly, who hasn't had hasn't won in the NBA in 40 plus years. I feel like the Philly conversation is a little bit more appealing, and I'm guessing that's what LeBron felt too.
I always felt it was like truly between and listen, Miami had a lot going on. It felt like a lot of the propaganda was trying to shift to Miami. Of course, with the social media leak where, and full disclosure, that happens all the time with NBA organizations. I feel like everyone's like Miami social media, Heat media, like it shouldn't have leaked and been scheduled like that. But
Yeah.
like that is a standard event practicing procedure. Like they knew they were in the finals to get him, and there was a chance like that. It was interesting to me and why, and I had like again, I had no proof for any of this. So like this is just fully me riffing, honestly. I didn't feel like he was ever going to go back to Miami, and that was because he had a like we're clearly at the end of his career. I mean, even in the announcement, he says, "This is it. Philly's the last team I'm playing for. I'm retiring after this." Like I almost retired after this year when the
Mhm.
season wrapped up with the Lakers. Miami wins 2 championships there. Of course, great legacy. That's where he learned to win, if you will. I don't think the desire to go back and finish there, unless his family just straight up wanted to live in Miami, which is certainly a possibility. Um, it just didn't feel like that would. It would have felt weird too, and with the Giannis thing, in the fact of the Giannis move, like it almost would have been like not that Philly is instantly LeBron's team per se, but it would kind of feel like LeBron was riding the Giannis wave a little bit in the like that's why I feel like he never took San Antonio seriously. I mean, if you want to talk about actually winning, like San Antonio would have been right there as well from a
Yeah,
winning
but
perspective, but he would have
I
been
guess,
jumping on the Wemby wave almost, it feels
yeah,
like. And LeBron didn't want to do that. I mean, Rich Paul even came out and said before all this started that if the Knicks didn't win the
that's
title
what
last year,
right there.
he would have gone to New York. Like that would have been it, full
That
stop.
that right there is what made me think Philly was the next up, because that tells me, oh, let me go to a city, let me get their drought over with, let me get the fifth one, fourth one with a different team, two of which were drought busters with Cleveland and New York in that scenario. Like that part is what I honed in on and went, if this is what he was thinking for New York, you can copy and paste that right into the Phillies or into the Sixers, because that's literally what they're dealing with right now is a 40 plus year drought. Um, the Jaylen Brown thing is a whole nother part of the conversation that obviously changed the narrative, I think. But yeah, I when I heard the Knicks part, that made me go, see, now that makes me think the 76ers are fully in on this one because it is his best chance to win immediately. I am curious if we see 2 years of LeBron with the 76ers. Like if they win next year, does he do the second year? Probably I would bet not. But if they don't win and maybe it's like a lose, situation in the finals or something, like maybe we do see that second year with LeBron. Um, but yeah, man, it's just exciting in general. I don't think the Celtics make that Jaylen Brown trade again if they know it potentially lands us LeBron.
That's tough to say because I don't think you can operate like that if you're the Celtics just got crushed by the second apron. Like Brad Stevens admitted
Yeah,
that, and that's
I
a
know.
whole other conversation that we've had a little bit on last podcast on what the second apron can do. I definitely think you look at it a little more like it is a benefit of the hindsight where you go, ooh, yeah, don't love the way that set of events played out. It reminds me, ironically, of when the Bucks let Drew Holiday go, and then Drew Holiday went right to the. If we want to talk about for the Celtics' benefit, then Drew Holiday went right to the Celtics and
Yeah,
won a championship. Like it was, you kind of have that opposite scenario with Milwaukee where you're like, ooh, do we make that change if we know he's
yeah,
going right to Boston after we move
yeah.
to Portland? Like that's not great. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that it always came down to, because I agree with all you said there in the sense that, like, right, if LeBron goes out and gets a fifth ring on a fourth separate team, like you said, for a championship, that the running joke right now is that they've never been to a conference finals. Yeah, you got to start to look at the legacy. Pretty like it's looking pretty all right at 42 years old. I mean, there's already a pretty compelling GOAT argument right now. Like where I stand is it's LeBron and Jordan. Kind of tell me either way. Like I don't really have. I'm not one of those either one. I think LeBron is probably the most skilled player to pick up a
Sure.
basketball ever. I think Jordan is obviously his resume speaks for itself. 6 titles, dominated an era, one of the best scorers in NBA history. LeBron gets that fifth. I think it kind of becomes unanimous a little bit. It reminds me of what happened then when Tom Brady went and got his with the seventh ring with the Bucks, and where it was like, oh no, this guy's a complete psycho. He's the best to ever do it. If LeBron gets another ring at 42 years old, like, and this team is of course more tailor made to compete. I don't think we're expecting this to be the LeBron show. Like, I don't think this is not going to
No.
be LeBron going back to Cleveland in 2014 and going, you just got a juggernaut at the peak of his powers. Like, he's still very much 41 years old right now. But listen, my man averaged 20 points last year and still has one of the highest basketball
But
IQs ever. And he's now playing alongside Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, BJ Edgecombe, and Joel Embiid. Give me that 5. If we're healthy, I'll take those 5 against anybody.
well, and so that's where the conversation goes, right? Embiid's health becomes a big part of this conversation. But luckily, even with Embiid down, those four you feel real good about, right?
Yeah.
Like that. This more than any other season, I go, okay, if Embiid's going to miss half the season with these four guys, I feel okay with that. Like the pressure for Embiid to play or be healthy the whole season kind of goes away a little bit. I was joking with you because my uncle texted me that I guess Anthony Davis was spotted in Philly the other day, and so
Yeah, he was.
maybe,
No, he was. Yeah, he said he was working out at Nova too.
so who knows? Maybe there's something there with that. I don't know. I don't think that really changes the injury risk. I feel like it's pretty much the same between AD and Embiid, unless you think the entire season being off last year for AD helps him in some way or gets him into a different thing. But I would genuinely feel terrible for Embiid if he got traded for AD and then we went and won.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be pretty unfortunate. I'm not gonna
Like the
lie, but
dude was like the embodiment of trust the process, and we
well,
just bailed on him to go get a ring.
also, why would the Sixers do that when it's the same
Right,
exact risk? Like, if you're gonna take the risk with Anthony Davis, you're already taking it with Embiid.
right,
So, like,
right.
unless you just truly believe Joel is that cooked, and I mean, I just watched him dominate that Boston game 7.
Yeah,
Like, it's hard
yeah.
for me to say that. Like, we'll see from there. But it's
But
it's not even just the starting five. Like, the starting five obviously is pretty great. You can't really argue with that. But like, what's the theme that we've learned from the Knicks and in the last few years is that depth
bench,
really
yeah.
matters. Like, depth and bench really, really matters. And that's the other part where the Sixers are like, that's where you buy in a little more and you go, hey, this bench is looking all right already. Like, all of a sudden, that Dean Wade pickup looks really great. The Anthony Simons pickup looks really great. You got to see if Phil Bond Jr. can come in and contribute right away. A guy who has already looked, he looked like he could be ready a little bit in summer league. The big question for the Sixers right now is backup center.
Yep.
Which, of course, with Embiid there, the biggest question in the starting lineup, that's going to loom really large. You've got a Dembona who's good defensively, but he feels kind of limited in what he could done. And they just picked up Huck Porty from the Knicks, who again played in a way more backup role last year. Like he's their third center after Mitch and after Cat. So like, that's you want to hopefully see them upgrade there a little bit. I think adding any wing body would be great. There's a rumor that KCP is going to get bought out from Memphis and the Sixers are in the running there. I would love that. Love Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to come be a spark off the bench. But like it's just, again, the roster looks good. Like I was already, and what a job that Mike Yancey's done. I mean, Mike Yancey comes here as the president replacing Daryl Morey. And in 3 months has turned this roster, has turned basically Paul George into Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. Are you kidding me? Like what an unbelievable, I mean, build a statue of this guy already. Yeah. Like how quickly he has flipped this roster and made it suddenly palatable. Like I'm giddy. I'm downright giddy. You heard me. Like I've said so many things about this franchise, and they finally just feels like they got a competent manager in there. It's like, what a world.
That was a big part of the conversation was management. We even go back all the way to like Colangelo's and the situation with them. Like, it was always a little bit of a self-sabotage vibe to that point.
They've done this franchise has done we're not going to recap all that. It's a positive podcast, but like this franchise has done even recently, like with Jared McCain a few months ago. Like there's a reason we were all so mad about that trade. And now in hindsight, I think it's given how it's all played out. I mean, I still would have loved Jared McCain on the roster. Like I didn't feel.
Imagine Jared McCain's going to be a starter for OKC next year with the moves they've made. Like, bro, he could have been one of the ones off the bench and to the bench conversation, like with LeBron, with JB, with Maxey, with VJ, like that's a lot of guys wanting the ball. So I do wonder like how you kind of handle that situation. But to your point, like they don't all have to play with each other at the same time all the time. So like in theory, this team is going to have 3 potentially all-star players on the court for the whole game. Like there's a real chance that happens the whole time. Obviously injury could change that, but like that's probably how the rotations are going to have to go so that everybody can eat. But you've got almost 5 guys on the team, on the roster, the starters that you could probably argue is going to drop a 30-point game on you. Like that's exciting for especially us as 76ers fan, but that's exciting to know just in any game. How the hell do you game plan against that?
Yeah, the lowest, I saw a stat that said the lowest career high for anybody in the starting lineup. Of course, as you would imagine, is VJ Edgecombe coming off his rookie year. And even VJ's high is 38. Yeah. So, Maxey's got big games. Embiid's, of course, got the 70 piece. Jalen's got big games. LeBron, it goes without saying. Like, it's definitely the roster is there. Justin, I'm just going to do a quick reset because this is an emergency pod, so the structure is a little different here today. Welcome everybody to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. I'm Kevin Rafuse. He's Justin Cousart. We are in the middle of a celebration, so it's a little like, again, on the emergency pod, not your traditional episode. If you're looking for who's balling, who's fallen, grid and all that, that's going to come back next episode. We are going to save the Lou Dort trade next episode too. That did go down. He's in Atlanta now, like Justin mentioned a little bit ago with McCain, some shakeups for the Thunder. And so we're going to talk that. We're going to talk Western Conference. But like, listen, you got to let us geek out for the episode. This is what you come here for. This is arguably one of the greatest episodes in Driving Dish NBA podcast history already in terms of you're talking about our moods right now.
Did you see Andrew, one of our listeners, Andrew has a DM group with us on Instagram. We should just start inviting everybody into this group. But did you see what I responded back with?
Oh, you're downplaying Andrew. Andrew's kind of earned that. Andrew's got like 14 seasons in the trenches with us. He's earned there are not many listeners I'd let like DM on our personal accounts like that, and I mean that as like a nice thing for Andrew. That's fair. Andrew's our guy. We genuinely he's our friend at this point.
Yeah, I just like the trash talk in it. I'm saying let's invite people in for the trash talk.
It also helps he's a Knicks fan, so it's extra. It's just a little spicy right now. But
what did I say to him? I said, hold on, I'm pulling it up so I can give the full thing in the Driving Dish chat. I said JB with a crossover ankle breaker on Tatum at the top of the key. He drives to the basket, throws an outlet pass to Maxey, who hits a 3 to put the Sixers up 14 with 20 seconds left. in the game of the Eastern Conference Finals to pass the Celtics to go face the Spurs. I was like, yeah, there's so much disrespect in that because in that the Knicks don't make it to the conference.
That's what I said. I'm like, you even got the Sixers running it back with the Knicks. I'm like, oh, well, we'll see the Knicks again in the conference finals, maybe, hopefully. And I mean, I guess that's something we should talk about here in a sec. We'll talk about kind of the state of the East and all this, but.
I did want to bring that up. I saw a meme where it's like it showed the Sixers roster and it's like 5 all NBA All-Stars, and then it shows the Knicks and it says the power of friendship.
No, I mean, listen, the power of friendship just won a title, so you can't really
I know.
As much as I want to get these jokes off, power of friendship is working right now.
Yeah,
so
it did
and
work.
I mean, look, realistically, like if we're talking Eastern Conference, like the Knicks, I mean, without saying, like have largely run their roster back. I mean, the biggest loss for the Knicks is Mitch. Like losing Mitch is big. They brought in Andre Drummond though, and so I think that's a good solid pickup. Obviously, Drum was still playing some good minutes for us last year. They'll be ready to compete and they'll be ready to run it back. The Knicks' biggest difficulty is going to be the championship hangover, which I think is just affecting everybody. You can't really fault them for that, but in terms of the continuity there is huge. Like all these other rosters now have, there's some shakeups. It's not quite the same as it was. So, I mean, you look around beyond that. Cleveland's got to figure out now, and Cleveland is the other team. We haven't really talked a ton about them much. Cleveland was the one team where I was like, oh, I thought he might go back there because that's when the narrative made sense. Like him going home, closing the chapter there. The team is still very good. Like I do think he would have had a chance to win in Cleveland as well. I wonder about his relationship with Harden, if there was any worry that, like that's come up a little bit. There were even reports that he was like trying to get them to trade for Kyrie back, and run that back, but Dallas didn't. Dallas didn't want to make the move there. So either way, like because that would have been fitting. Like LeBron's obviously most meaningful basketball to his career at this point has been played in Cleveland. Like that 2016 championship. Like if you talk about all the legacies out there, even with the scoring, like all-time leader. That's the one that really moved the needle. Those Miami titles were great, and I think they certified him as a winner. But it was like you were playing with D Wade, you were playing with Bosh, you were playing with franchises already won before. Like getting that first ring in franchise history for the Cavs, doing it against arguably the greatest team of all time in the 73-win Warriors, coming back from 3-1. Like that's the ultimate LeBron accomplishment. And so I understand like wanting to finish there, and I think that's always a pull that. You just can't really argue with that. If anything, I'm kind of surprised. Like I did kind of in my head, I think he was going back to Cleveland a little bit more just because it would have been such a nice bow on the career. Like LeBron in the grand scheme doesn't have anything to prove at this point. But listen, my man's a competitive psycho. He says, I want the best chance to win. I'm going to come out here in Philly. It feels like that's the way. I mean, beyond San Antonio, the only franchise, again, I'm surprised he didn't give a bigger look was Minnesota. I thought the Minnesota fit would have been really good with him and Ant and LaMelo, McDaniels, Gobert. Like it just feels like that roster. I mean, obviously they've been in conference finals recently too. Like that roster feels ready to compete. I'm kind of surprised again. Tough in the West, but I don't think the East is like you have certified killers out west with OKC and San Antonio. There's no doubt about it. And other teams that look like they can really like make some moves this year too. But like the East, defending champs, like a lot of these teams are still going to be solid. I don't think any of these are going to be cakewalks now too. But so yeah, let's move into the East a little bit. Kind of where we're at right now. So the Knicks. Got to give them the respect. I still think you put them at 1. Okay. Continuity matters there too. I think that goes a long way. Beyond that, listen, and again, I'm very y'all see the shirt. I'm a little biased right now. I'll take the Sixers over anybody right now. I mean, Boston losing Jalen is a big step back. I know they've got Paul George, but like there's going to be some adjustment there. You got to see what Tatum does. Miami needs to fill out the rest of the roster. Got to figure out the Wiggins situation. Listen, I'm not going to downplay Giannis and Bam, but I also want to see how they space come playoff time. I think Spo will figure it out for the record. Y'all know I'm a big Spo guy too, but just worth saying. Toronto, I think, is going to be in the mix. We got to see what happens with this whole Kawhi situation. Like at the end of the day, that trade hasn't gone through yet.
What about Detroit? Because you haven't mentioned them yet.
I think Detroit's still going to be in the mix, but I think Detroit has more questions, and namely, they got to figure out this Durant situation. Like until that's figured out, and you know what that's going to look like. We'll see. I mean, but there's a few other things too. I mean, like again, we love the joke on him, but like Tobias Harris played a lot of good minutes for Detroit last year. He's not there anymore. They're not going to catch anybody by surprise. They're still going to be in the mix. I'm not suggesting that they're going to fall off a cliff and not be in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a lot harder for them to be the one. I think they also
Yeah.
had the advantage of surprising people last year, but also Cade Cunningham is really good at basketball, and I do think that he's going to keep a team like that in the mix. It's going to be,
Mhm.
where does the rest of the offense come from? Cleveland. We want to see what happens with Harden now. I would imagine that the Harden deal gets done here sooner than later,
Yeah.
and he's back. Um, yeah, again, team got to the conference finals last year. I know Harden has his flaws and it kind of was bad that series, but you run it back with Mobley, you run it back with Allen, you see what you got here again. Atlanta, I think, is a team on the rise. They're going to be good. We'll see if Charlotte can replicate a little bit. I'm interested to see the bigger Khan role, the bigger Brandon Miller role. But again, the question mark is there because they're replacing LaMelo. Orlando, I think I want to, just still kind of some question marks to me, given how they played last year. What does Paulo look like? They're still going to be in the mix, though. Um, the other team that the Wizards maybe jump, depending on how the AD and Trey thing goes, with all their younger guys as well. I think they're going to be a bit more in the mix. But if we're talking like, yeah, I feel like with the Sixers, even without addressing the backup situation, if this thing gels the way it's supposed to, I think the only team you're saying definitively better than them in the East right now is the Knicks.
I don't even think the Knicks are better than them. I think they have more credibility right now, right? Like but like if you take their roster on paper and you take the five that we've got starting for the 76ers on paper, like I bet most people will pick the Sixers on that end.
It's different. The depth is way
Yeah.
better. Like, and
Yeah.
Knicks fans are going to say, "Hey, we swept you with this team last year," but the depth is just, it's better now.
Yeah.
Like the Sixers had nobody coming off the bench last year. I
Yeah.
mean, the guys that were supposed to just kind of disappointed. Like, a
Mhm.
guy like Quentin Grimes, for example, I felt was pretty disappointing in the playoffs. Um, that they were running a 6-man roster essentially. I mean, I know Justin Edwards, who's a young guy on the roster too, we probably
Yeah.
haven't mentioned, who I think, will get some minutes this year, as a good chance to contribute in this rotation. Um, is still younger as well, so I think there's a lot of upside. Like, he's kind
Yeah.
of in that Phil Bond Jr. category. Um, those guys weren't getting heavy minutes. Like, you really were running your five, and a lot of those games
Yeah.
against the Knicks, like, I think you see it where they got gassed. I would hope that with the depth now, I want to see Nick Nurse not fall into that trap, because Nick Nurse last year ran Tyrese Maxey into the ground. Like, he
Yeah.
ran VJ Edgecombe into the ground, and like, they're younger, so you can get away with it. But it's like, hey, if we're running a real like 8, 9, 10 man roster this year, listen, let's play for the playoffs here a little bit,
Yeah.
bud. Like, this team has big expectations. You don't go out and get LeBron James if you're not expecting to win this year and compete this year. And I mean, that's the one good thing about all this too, is like, my biggest frustration with the Sixers trading Jared McCain is it felt like they were doing it to duck the luxury tax on top of anything. Like, there ain't no ducking with LeBron. Like, you got LeBron these last 2 years, you
You're
know what it
in.
is. You're
Yeah, you
all
are
in. We're
in.
trying to win this now. We have a 2-year window.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know what? And let's roll. Like, I'm with it. Like, let's do it. Let's go. Like, I am begging my favorite basketball team to go win a championship with my favorite player of all time. Like, listen, I'm already pre-ordering the jersey. I bought a basketball jersey in like 20 years. You already know I'm pre-ordering the black one. I might get the
Dude.
cream one too at this
Oh,
point.
the black one's the best one. The black one's the best one. And
Yeah.
honestly, but like weirdly enough, I want I want the whole starting five jerseys. Like I
Yeah,
want
I mean,
all
yeah.
of them.
Listen, they win a
So,
title, it might happen.
yeah, no, I know for real. So it's awesome. I saw some chatter, like this is Reddit chatter, so take it for what it is. But there's some talk about LeBron's potentially going to live up in New York, and he's going to helicopter to the Phillies to play.
I mean, JJ Redick did that low key for a while. JJ Redick
Yeah.
was living in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So, obviously the internet is not a big fan of that idea. But
Well,
either
that's
way,
helicopters, man. Helicopters are scary, and like, obviously with NBA, it extra rings home. Rest in
Yeah.
peace to Kobe Bryant.
yeah.
But no, man. Like, I'm not gonna. Well, I don't. Never mind. That we'll save that. We'll keep that in the internal filters. I've got a buddy who's got a story about helicopters, but if I tell the story, it's gonna kind of ID who he is, and I don't want to ID him out
got
here.
you.
So
I got you.
the point is, they're scary. I mean, even in the World Cup coverage, did you see that clip? They took the final. They took the helicopter from the city over to the Meadowlands to go cover Spain and Argentina. Shout Spain, by the way, World Cup champs. Vamos España. Um, But yeah, man, Rebecca Lowe and Zlatan are like Zlatan's been doing nothing but talking this entire World Cup run. My man said like 3 words in that helicopter flight. He's like, this is a guy out here who's Mr. like I'm king of the jungle, like playing the part the whole time. That dude was terrified in that helicopter. Like he was straight up like he turned like pale as a
Yeah.
ghost. Like Thierry Henry doesn't want to really want to talk that much. Rebecca Lowe's there, like poor Rebecca Lowe's and like trying to keep the show and having to talk way more going, and she's clearly unsettled with it all right now.
Yeah.
And my point is like, and they're in the good helicopters. Like these are
Yeah.
people that they're really taking care of and all that. Yeah, I'm good. And I have no issues with flying. I'm good on like I'm not a heights guy where I have an issue like that unless it's super unsecure. Like I'm pretty all right, but nah, man, I'm good. I
Yeah.
truly don't feel the need to ever go in a helicopter in my life.
No, I'm good. And the Kobe stuff obviously rings true and is a big part of the conversation for that part because of how bad that went. And there was even a more recent one, which was an alternative artist. I'm forgetting his name right
Oh,
now.
in Brazil. Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. What that's bad. I should know his name.
Yeah, I should too. And we play him on the station too. Like we have a few of his songs in
Oliver
rotation.
Tree.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. And he's kind of a wonky dude. Like his music was a little out there and everything. But yeah, I mean, you see that clip and that's two helicopters running into each other, but like, dude, like, nah, I'm good. Like in my lifetime in big vehicles coming out of the sky, I hear a lot more of that than I hear about airplanes doing it. So like, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's just like, no, I'm okay. Like I don't need to yeah, there's just a
I
lot that
think
can
I think the
the
perk
plane
of
is gonna be able to handle the weather better, I feel like.
right.
That helicopter, I feel like if we get a storm and it rolls in, it might blow me into something.
And I think helicopter makes potentially in like a situation like this more sense because I don't think there's a whole like process to go, if that makes sense. Like if you're flying a plane, like you're talking with people, you're setting you know what I mean? Like I think a helicopter can just kind of go. And
Yeah.
so I think at least from a 45-minute helicopter ride thing, like that's a lot faster. So
Oh no, yeah, a helicopter ride from New York to Philly would not take that long. Like New York to Philly, when you drive a car, if there's no traffic, is only about 2 hours. Like depending
yeah,
where you're going. I mean, when I went to Hofstra, and Hofstra's deeper on the island. Hofstra's in Nassau County, so like you got to go through Brooklyn and Queens to get to Hofstra.
yeah,
If I didn't hit traffic, I could get to Hofstra from my parents' house in suburban Philadelphia
yeah.
in like two flat,
But
and I was even in
traffic,
Philly.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
traffic turned
traffic
to
is a
five too, but you
yep,
know.
yep. Traffic can turn it. I mean, it's the same down here with I-4 in Orlando. If you're from Jacksonville, it's about 2.5 hours to the Orlando airport. And like, obviously, you got to be there 2 hours in advance. But like, you could get there in two flat easy, but you could also hit traffic on I-4 and be there
Two
for
flat is
6
gunning it.
hours.
I respect that. If you've gotten from Jacksonville to the Orlando International Airport in 2 hours, like I kind of
I've
only
done it.
because you're
I've
dude,
done it.
you are
It's crazy.
gunning at that point
Yeah.
because I mean
Yeah.
it's all highway, but like the
But
Orlando again, not to be geography nerds here, but like the Orlando International Airport is in the pretty far south part of the city. Like it's
yeah.
not like oh it's right at top. Ironically, it's the complete opposite of Jacksonville, which is all the way up in the north
Yeah.
part of the city. I mean, shoot, Jacksonville Airport, when I lived down there, it's gonna be like 45 minutes to get there.
It's kind of its own little area. They're building it up. It's getting kind of more built up. Like Amazon built a warehouse there. There's a Wawa there now. Like they're like really ramping up the area.
Wawa
Um,
succeeding in Jacksonville was one of the most obvious things of all time. And like that, everybody never said that. Like, of course,
yeah,
you and I would say that back in the day, and it would
we
just come
do.
off as a Homer stuff because it was Homer
Everyone would be
stuff.
like, "Oh, gas station food." Like that's what they would tell
No,
us
it's because
down here.
nothing was open. That's what you
Yeah,
don't understand. It's because it has nothing to do with the quality of the food. It has everything to do with the fact that nothing was open. Justin, I lived in Jacksonville, as you know, with you from 2013 to
hmm
2017, and there wasn't like it would hit 10
Taco
o'clock.
Bell. Yeah, it was Taco Bell or nothing really.
Yeah, there were 4 restaurants open. There was that one Whataburger over on Phillips Highway that was open 24/7, which
Yep.
pretty good, honestly, not gonna
Yeah.
hate. There was McDonald's, there was Waffle House if you want to sit down. Again, I love Waffle House. I will
Kenny's.
never
Yeah. Yeah.
ever slander Waffle House. That's how you know I'm being held hostage if I'm slandering Waffle House. And then right, like that Taco Bell, and even the one Taco Bell by me closed down. They used to be open until 4 in the morning. They start closing at 11. Like
yeah.
that hurt. They came through from I was working the overnight shift. They came through for me so many times.
Yep. Yep.
Those ladies who were working at Taco Bell were patron saints, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Emergency Podcast. We appreciate you guys. We will be back with a full episode again. Appreciate your patience here. We're going to talk Lou Dort trade. We'll talk some more summer stuff, but like a couple scheduling things in both of our lives have come up recently. But we weren't about to slip and not get a LeBron James podcast and come to Philly a little bit and let that, because the Jaylen Brown news with us probably sat for like 4 or 5 days. We couldn't let the LeBron news sit. This is LeBron James. Like, what are we talking about? Like, unless we get, it's like that. And I mean, the last emergency pod before this was the Luka trade, which I think that qualifies. Is quite an emergency pod. But thank you for listening to this episode of the Driving Dish NBA podcast. As always, you can find our show wherever you get a podcast, iTunes. Leave us a review. We'll read them there. But if you're not an iTunes user, Apple Play Store or Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Player FM, Amazon Music, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And we're on YouTube, Driving Dish NBA. You can watch video versions of the podcast and subscribe there.